I haven't had a practice in the last 3 years. For me, the practice is something that's a spiritual connection to the greater world, to the universe. So it's a very spiritual thing for me. But I haven't had the opportunity to engage in the art forms or to learn because I don't have the time to practice. Hi, I'm Meenakshy Bhaskar, Artistic Director of Bhaskar Arts Academy. I am the daughter of dance doyens, Mr. K.P. Bhaskar and Shanta Bhaskar, who started Bhaskar Arts Academy. When it first started out in the 1950s, they ran it as a school traveling until the mid-60s, practicing their art and spreading the art from all over Singapore and Malaysia. And then when Singapore and Malaysia split up, then we had the problem of going across the causeway. Made it a little bit more complex, but they continued their classes in JB, Kluang, and Penang. Eventually, more teachers began to sprout out there. People began to migrate and sprout out. They also pulled back and reduced their classes. And I think by the 1980s, they stopped going to Malaysia. They established the school and they used to perform in the 1960s for Aneka Ragam performances, for political rallies when we were getting separation from the British, and then again political rallies when we became an independent country, and really enjoyed that, and from that sprouted a lot of their work. But the school was established and they continued to run the school as well. We used to have a lot of performances in the early days at embassies and at the Istana a lot, as guests of the Prime Minister and also the President. Whenever there were foreign dignitaries, we were invited to perform there in the 50s through till mid-80s. The school then evolved in the 1980s. We had an organizational shift. The government, Ministry of Culture, was offering spaces to arts organizations, and so we had to reorganize ourselves to be able to qualify for one. Up to then, they were teaching at our home, at a community centre in Katong, and at the ECA centre on Northumberland Road. So they had these three centres in Singapore and they would travel to JB. So to centralise all their classes, they wanted a space, and when the government was supporting arts groups, they applied for a space and it became Nrityalaya Aesthetic Society. So that ran for many years, and then we moved from Telok Kurau to another place, and then we were the first tenants at Stamford Arts Centre, and it was really great. We started with one room just for dance class, and then we ended up taking on another room when classes started doing well. We were also doing a lot of performances, even though we were teaching. That was a very creative time for my mother. We've been here for 10 years, and we're really grateful. So that's the sort of the brief journey of our school. My parents were very much sold to the idea of one country, one nation, living harmoniously amongst each other. They really loved the multicultural aspect of Singapore. They invested a lot of time trying to learn Malay culture, Chinese culture, Malay dance, Malay music, Chinese dance, Chinese music, and really fostered friendships in the art circle with cross-cultural collaborations they did. Mum got a little bit involved in the creative aspect of it, but she just focused on the creative. Then when my father passed away, my brother stepped in and helped out as executive director, and he was doing a great job. He's the one who helped us find the space here at Bras Basah and helped the school get further a bit more, and so that my mom could just focus a lot more on choreography. Then my brother retired, and my mom started having to wear both hats, and that was just before COVID. She told me, I need you to come back home, because I was living abroad. It was a huge struggle for me because I had started my own school and been there for about almost 30 years. And when I said sure, and we made a plan that 2020 would be the year that I would move part-time here and part-time in the US, and that's when COVID happened. And then 2022, she passed. There was no chance to do this gradual transition. So what happened was I had to end up wearing both hats of artistic director and executive director as well. My father had a belief that arts should be for everyone, and I think keeping it affordable was one of the things that he wanted to offer the community. So because of that, I think we struggled. Our teachers are very experienced and quite well educated in the field. They've got a diploma and they've worked maybe in the field for about 20 plus years. So they're teachers who've been teaching for at least 10 years. It's been challenging, but also very rewarding. So learning how to shift and navigate between these changes has been the challenge, but it's been very rewarding coming and working on trying to really create a system of saving their legacy, because 70 years work is really quite amazing. And especially my mother, she was a prolific choreographer, and not only did she choreograph major dance dramas and major productions, she was also very actively creating small repertory pieces for solo performances. The school is run as a non-profit. So the struggle we have is with the lease. We do some in-house productions for the school. We gain some money from it, but it's still not a lot. We've always committed to being a low-fee school. With great difficulty this year in April, we raised our fees, but we've had that same fee for almost 10 to 15 years. The arts is kind of very limited, and dance is, the bottom feeder, and Indian dance is literally the bottom feeder of the bottom feeders. So, it makes it really difficult. I think it's more what people are willing to buy. They try to get free classes or the cheapest classes, or they'd rather not pay for dance. They'll pay for almost anything. They'll pay to go see a lip sync concert of a pop star, pay $150 to go see that. But when we have a performance of $30, we're unable to pull the crowd. Even though people who come and watch the show are thoroughly engaged, and NAC has a 90% satisfaction score, even though we meet that every time, we're unable to draw people in to buy the tickets for dance. The traditional arts tend to be the lowest rung. And then of the traditional arts, I think Indian arts is pretty low. Firstly, because we're the smallest community, and we are so diverse among Indians. Also, we have the different dance forms, so already divided there. And then how many of the community would patronize that? So it's a very small percentage. So in that way, we're very small. But it's just a thing of the market. It's just how the market is. Yeah. I do some dancing, but not enough. For myself, I'm hoping to get back to it again someday. There's just a lot to deal with that I chose not to dance for the last few years. For me, the practice is something that's a spiritual connection to the greater world, to the universe. And if I'm not able to come to my teacher, and I do have a teacher in the various dance. My mom used to be my teacher in Bharatanatyam, but I haven't had the opportunity to engage in the art forms or to learn, because I don't have the time to practice, and I don't want to disrespect my teacher by not showing up prepared. Creative process for me is also from a spiritual place. I find inspiration in many things. I find inspiration in personal connection, especially human connection. I like relationships. I like dissecting relationships and understanding relationships. I like understanding feelings and emotions and what are the motivations for people. I love delving in that. I like learning something new. I have to really understand what it is that I want to say in every way in my art. I have to connect with it in a very, very deep level. So if I'm given a piece of music to choreograph, I will probably put that song on repeat and listen to it all day long. Unlike school, where you have your teacher only for 1 year, with traditional arts and with dance and music, your teacher tends to be in your life from the time you start the lesson till, forever almost. It's very mixed emotions, because I am left with the legacy and what to do next. I feel trepidation about, because I don't want to misstep. Some days I come into the office thinking I'm going to be doing XYZ, but I end up doing A to Z. But it's still very rewarding for me. I go to bed with a full heart and with this feeling of responsibility as well. We are also interested in nurturing the next generation. It's very hard to reach out to the non-Indian community as adults unless they are really inspired by dance and really inspired by what they see in a performance. And When my mom passed away, we sat down and I said, do we want to continue? Is it worth continuing? And for all of us, it was a yes. So safeguarding what happened, the history, and trying to preserve it so that future generations can look back and feel some sense of pride for some Singaporean artists and Singaporean work. So trying to make sure all of that is preserved in a way that's meaningful for the future as something that happened in the history of Singapore. So that's one of the things that I feel is very important to us.